So we are here. We're a little bit late, not much, I think. It's about 10:30, I think. On December 3rd, right? Probably. So we're here for gentle yoga. So I don't plan to use a strap or anything. If you're home, let yourself start to get comfortable. Get everything you need. Get blocks, blankets handy. So get comfortable if you're sitting in your chair. Get your feet about hips distance apart and parallel so that you feel pretty good up into your hips. And the same thing if you're on the floor. You may want to sit cross-legged or you may not. So just close your eyes here and let yourself very easily bring your attention to your breath. Really feeling the breath coming in and going out easily. And then if you can gently bring your breath into the belly, feeling your belly expand a little bit as you inhale. Starting to move a little bit with your breath. Let your exhalations bring you forward with a nice long back, and your inhalations bring you back up. Does not matter how far forward you go. Just take your time, ease your way into feeling the breath, move the body. The next time that you end up sitting up tall, stay there, lengthening upward through the top of your head, and then release your arms on out beside you. Float your hands just a little off the floor if you're on the floor there, and let your hands circle around so that you feel your wrists there. Let your hands circle one way, and then stop and reverse and go the other. And then come on back, raise your hands up about shoulder height and flex your hands here now. Really feel the undersides of the arms there. And then let the fingertips face down so you feel more the tops of your arms. And then just shake your hands out a little bit. Bend your elbows, shake out, move around a little bit. And then let's take a nice inhale as we lengthen upward. And on the exhale, twisting to our right. So coming into waking up the spine, bringing yourself around into twist. Feel your sitting bones drawing down so you feel pretty equal between the sit bones. Inhaling here. And as we exhale, we'll come on back around through center and go off in the other direction. So again, just lengthening up. Feel your feet, if you can, gently pressing into the floor, whatever part of your feet are touching them. And one more inhale. And let your exhale bring you on back around into center. And let's inhale both arms now all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come right down together to be in front of our chest. And then reverse and inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, opening the arms on back out and down. And we're going to stretch our legs out for a second. Remember which leg you have in front if you're cross-legged. Move through your feet and your ankles a little bit now, circling through however you want, same direction or opposite. Just reverse every now and again so you feel pretty good about feeling the ankles and the feet. And then if you were cross-legged, come on back to having your other leg in front and getting comfortable there. Lengthening upward, releasing your arms again out beside you. Let's inhale our right arm all the way out and up. Once it gets up, bend your elbow. Now take your time, everybody's different, so whether your elbow needs to come out more or forward more, or you just adjust however your shoulder allows you to do. And some of you might want to bring your left arm up and over and put your hand onto that right elbow. If you feel good to do that, you can find just a little more there, release for your tricep. And then we're going to release the left arm down. If it was up, stretch that right arm back long now overhead, and we'll come over into side stretch. So bringing your hand to the floor to give you a little support if you're there on the floor, or put your hand in your lap if you're in your chair, or you can hold the chair leg if you want. Just breathing into that side you're stretching. And then we'll come on back up, lower that arm on down. And let's inhale the left arm all the way out again and up as far as feels good for you. Once you bend the elbow, it depends on you, what position you come with that elbow, whether it's up more or forward or out more. And then again, it's optional whether you bring the right arm up and over and hold on that elbow or not. Totally up to you. You can maybe put it in front if you want of your upper arm if that feels good instead of over the top. And then releasing the right arm down if it was up, stretching through the left arm here. We're going to come over into that side stretch. So bringing yourself into, breathing into the left ribs here. Again, your hand can give you support. One more breath. And then we'll come on back up and lower that arm on down. Now bring your hands behind you and clasp them if you can, so that you just let yourself slide your hands down as far as you want, maybe all the way to the floor of the chair. And then see about coming forward a little bit, almost like you're leading with your chest to come forward. So really enjoy coming into that flat back and coming forward as far as you want. I mean, if you want to go farther, go farther. Some of you may even want to release your arms off your back. So if that feels good in your shoulders, you can do that. Try to release the back of the neck so you're not putting your chin forward and tightening up the back of the neck. And then we'll release to come on back upright. Let your hands now come on out onto lightly touching the floor if you're on the floor with your fingertips. And let's inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And now lift your elbows up. Let your chin come down towards your chest. So you're just looking down at your hands. And feel your thumb come in towards your breastbone. Doesn't matter where it is, how high or low. Just let yourself release there. One more breath. And then slowly letting the head come back up and releasing your arms on down beside you. Shake out a little bit. And we're going to come on around towards our hands and knees. If you know you don't want to be on your knees, don't be. You can use your chair. You can use blankets under your knees, under your hands if you'd rather. Remember, if your wrists bother you, adjust. Come to fist if you'd like. Hold the edge of the seat of the chair. Even come down to your forearms to do the movement through the spine, or cat-cows. If that feels better for you, you can use blocks under your forearms. So take your time. Let yourself, when you start to move through those cat-cows, be really easy about it. Stop if you need to in either of the poses. Really allow yourself to feel the tailbone initiating as you move through your spine. Enjoy that supple feeling, really. Good. And then finish off so that you come back to more neutral spine from where you are, looking down between your hands. And let's bring our left foot forward and step our right foot back and find our first lunge. Your lunge can be as high or low as you want. Hands can be down onto the seat of a chair. They can be down onto blocks, any height you want. Let yourself take your time. Enjoy opening up through the back of that right leg. Remember, if your hands bother you in lunges too, you can go from fist, you can do fingertips, you can go flat hands. There's a little bit of weight in your hand, so if it bothers you, just adjust. And we're going to switch legs. So whether you like to step forward or back, coming to the other side. Remember, you want that sense of alignment where the feet are a little bit apart the wide way, like you're on very narrow railroad tracks. Now feel the shoulders drawn down away from your ears. Press the feet gently away from each other. Good. And let's switch again. Once you get here, if you feel like you want to lift up your left hand so that you get a little more into the legs and a little less in your hands, you can. You don't need to. Let yourself take your time. And we're going to switch again. So finding that alignment in the lunge, even if you don't lift up your right hand, you can just imagine that you are. Sometimes that engages you a little deeper. Engage the belly now. Feel the feet pressing gently away from each other. And let's come on forward into standing forward bend from here. Feet hips distance apart and parallel. Let your knees bend a little bit here. Feel the weight of your head. Nod and shake your head a bit. You know you can use support however you need. Elbows can be above your knees. Hands can be on the blocks. You can release your hands down as far as feels good. And then just feel your sitting bones right over your heels. You can come into straighter legs if you want. You can keep your knees bent if that feels good for you. Just feeling the backs of the legs easily opening up from your torso being forward. Feeling equal through your feet. One more nice full deep breath. And then we'll let our hands come up to our hips, bend our knees, press into our feet and rise on up. We'll inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come right down together in front of our hearts. Finding our mountain pose. So ease your way here into your mountain pose, whatever you need to do to get comfortable. Spread your fingers nice and wide and really feel that connection through your hands. Each finger, so concentrate separately on each finger together. Your thumbs. Whatever part of your palms are touching each other. You're not pressing hard, but there is this sense of just a gentle connecting there. And then feel the thighs easily lifting upward. Creating space in your knees, not locking. Hips over ankles, shoulders over hips. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us and inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, bend your knees as you come forward into that standing forward bend. And on your next inhale, find a nice long back. Hands can be where you like. Your shins, your blocks, your chair. Find that flat back. And we'll step the right foot back and come into lunge. Really draw your shoulders down now. Feel that sense of length in the back body. Inhale. And exhale into your downward facing dog pose. So whether your hands are on blocks any height or the chair, you can be on the back or the seat of the chair. Elbows hug inward. Walk a little bit. Bend one knee at a time. Let yourself feel a little more release in the backs of the legs there. And then on the next inhale, we'll come out towards a plank. Whether you want to put your knees down and come into half plank, you can go to forearms, so you get out of your hands if you'd like. Just feel that sense of zipping up the low belly and reaching your sitting bones down towards your heels. And then we'll come on back into down dog. And reaching back equally through those sitting bones. Feel your tailbone reaching way back on that diagonal line. And then we'll bring the right foot forward to come into lunge. So you can put your left knee down if you need to get into that lunge. And then we'll come all the way back into standing forward bend again. Feet right underneath us. Let yourself again release to where it's comfortable. If bringing your hands to your elbows or putting your hands behind your legs onto your calves feels good. Using support, remember. And then see if you can let your face go. Feel really soft in your face. Really released around your mouth, around your eyes, and across your forehead. And then we'll bring our hands on back up to our hips as we bend our knees and rise straight on up. We'll inhale the arms out and overhead, and on the exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Let's unfold our arms and clasp our hands behind us like we did when we were seated. Let your hands slide down as far as feels good. So you feel that space between your ears and your shoulders. Inhale, and on the exhale, bend your knees and come on forward. Now you can stay flat backed parallel to the floor or higher. If you feel like you want to fold forward over your legs, by all means do. And then it's the same thing whether you want to bring your arms off your back like we did when we were seated or not. You may decide to leave your hands down. One more breath. And then release your arms on down and let your next inhale help you find that flat back wherever you want your hands to support you there. And we'll step the left foot back and come into lunge. Press the feet away from each other. Draw your shoulders down. Inhale. Exhale into that downward facing dog pose. Again, you can adjust where your hands are, the height of your hands in your down dog. Chair, blocks, floor. Let yourself feel your elbows again, gently hugging inward. And on the next inhale, come on out towards that plank. And again, you can be in a forearm plank if you'd rather. Feel that engagement of the belly, sitting bones reaching for the heels. You can bend your elbows if you want. If you're up on your hands and you like to do little push-ups, go for it. And then we'll come on back into down dog again. Reaching back through the sitting bones equally. Feel equal through the sides of your body. And we'll bring our left foot forward this time to find lunge. However you need to do that. And then we'll step all the way back into standing forward bend. Now if you can, let your knees soften, lift your toes up. Feel that sense of the four corners of the feet into the floor. Make sure you're not rolling inside or outside of your feet. And then softly let the toes release on back down to the floor. And come into your forward bend again, wherever you like to be. Full deep breaths. Find those little spaces between your breaths. Good. We'll bring our hands now back up to our hips. Bend our knees and rise on up. And inhale our arms all the way out and up overhead. And let our exhale bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. And now clasp your hands, interlace your fingers and squeeze your palms towards each other. So really feeling that engagement in the biceps, feeling your hands all the way through your arms up into your shoulders. And then start to press forward with the heels of your hands right out from your chest. Try not to roll forward with the shoulders. It's like the chest comes forward a little bit and you draw your arm bones kind of back into the shoulder socket. Now, as you start to rise your hands, it is up to you how far you go. So you may go a little bit more in front of your face. You may go higher and higher and higher till the hands get right above your head. Now, feel your tailbone reaching down towards between your heels. And then come over to the left a little bit. Press a little more up into the heel of your right hand, finding a little more stretch through this right side waist here. And then we'll come on back into center, and we're going to go the other way. And again, press a little more. Really feel like you're pressing into the heel of the left hand. Feel a little more in your left side waist. Good, and then we'll come on back up again. If you want, as you inhale, you can look up at your hands. And then as you exhale, release your hands. We're going to fold forward into standing forward bend. On your next inhale, find that nice long back. And we're going to walk into down dog from here, whether you have your hands on the chair or on the blocks of the floor. Walk your way back into your dog. And let your next inhale bring you out to your plank. Now, back bend is optional here. You are welcome to do one or not. So you can come through with the pelvis coming down and the chest coming forward for an up dog. Or you can come to the floor and do a sphinx or a cobra. And then we'll make our way back again into down dog. Take your time. If you want to walk a little bit in your dog, do. Let your head turn just easily a little bit side to side. And we're going to come back again out towards that plank. So take your time as you come on out. Again, optional back bend. You don't need to do one. If you'd rather do little push-ups, you can. If you'd rather stay in your plank, engaging the core there, do. And then we'll make our way again back into downward facing dog pose. And we'll bring our right foot forward to find lunge here. And then we'll come on back into standing forward bend. Feet right underneath us. Go right to your breath. Again, see if you can find those spaces between your breaths. So feel that fullness of an inhale. Follow that by that little space or that little pause before you exhale. Same thing after your exhale, that little space before you inhale. Let the breaths even out too if you can. The length of your inhales and exhales. Good. One more breath. And then we'll bring our hands up to our hips, bend our knees, rise on up to standing, and let's inhale the arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Now, bring your chin down a little towards your chest again. Let yourself see your hands. Feel the thumbs coming inward. And on your next inhale, start to bring your chin back up so you're parallel to the floor. You find that sense of alignment here now. Feeling yourself stacked up. Feeling the crown of the head reaching upward. Good. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us. Move around a little bit if you need to. Walk around if you need to. Walk around your mat. We're going to come into some warriors. So if you're using your chair, you might want to turn it around. Have your blocks handy at the front of your mat. And let's bring our right foot back and come into warrior two. Line up our heels. Get that back foot about parallel to the back edge, or send your heel back farther if that feels fine for you, into your knee and your hip. And then from here, just rise your arms up a little bit and bring your right arm under your left. Give yourself a bit of a hug. Let your elbows melt down. And then if you can, let your head turn a little bit from side to side. So be mindful, right? So you're in warrior two legs. If you're going to turn and look behind you a little bit over that right shoulder, and then turning to look over the left. Good. Then come back to center from where you were. And then let's release our arms and inhale the arms right on out into those warrior two arms. Reaching out through the fingertips. Softening the tops of the shoulders down. Feet pressing gently away from each other. Good. We'll turn the left palm up and inhale, reach up towards the sky. Let the right hand slide a little more down that right leg if you can. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll come into side angle. Whether you put your left hand or forearm on your chair or your thigh is up to you. Bringing that right arm up into line if you can. So feeling that sense of length through the right side of the body. Whether your right hand is in line with the right side or hand on the hip. Either way, you're nice and long through both sides of the body. And then we'll come on back into warrior two. Press the feet gently away from each other, softening the shoulders down. And let's bring our hands down. Turn our left foot now more parallel to our right. Now you can adjust how wide you are for your wide-legged forward bend. Bend the knees and come on forward. At first, see if you can place your elbows right above your knees. Let yourself bend your knees so that you find that squat there, but you're reaching back through your tailbone. Good, and then go ahead and let yourself release. Whether you want to grab a block or blocks and come down to forearms stacked onto your blocks there, or maybe you feel like you want to let your hands come to the floor. Take your time. Feel the feet in the floor here now. Imagine you're trying to make your mat longer with your feet. So you're pressing your feet gently away from each other. And just breathe. Take a couple breaths here, feeling the weight of your head. Good. One more breath. And then we'll bring our hands up to our thighs, right above the knees there, and press our way on up to standing. And we're going to walk our feet together. And take your time. Move through your feet and your ankles if you need to. Press into the top of the toes. And we're going to go to the other side. So right foot's going to come forward and left foot is going to step back this time. So getting that alignment here of that front knee, really be mindful as you bend it, look at it, make sure you're really lining up there. And then take your time. Float your arms up. Bring your left arm under your right. Give yourself that little hug. See if you can release your elbows down. Doesn't matter whether you hold low, like towards your armpits, or up and over your shoulders. And then again, if you can turn and look one way and the other in your own timing. So just being mindful, feeling really strong in the core and the legs. The hips are really engaged here. But you can find that ease of movement there on top. And then finish to where you have your head back at center. We'll release our arms on down and inhale the arms on up and out into warrior two arms. So reaching out through the fingertips, softening the shoulders down. Feeling the feet in the mat here equally. Good. We'll turn our right palm up. Let your left hand come down. Slide your left hand a little more down. Let yourself breathe into the right side of the body. And on your next exhale, come on into that side angle. So again, it can be your right hand or forearm onto your thigh or your chair. Adding that left arm up into line with the left side of the body is totally up to you. Remember, you're more than welcome to keep your left hand down. Just ease your way into finding that sense of length through both sides of the body. Imagine your head is a part of your spine too. And then we'll come on back into warrior two, pressing those feet away from each other as we come. And then hands coming down. We're going to turn our feet more parallel. And then as we make our way forward again, if you like your blocks, grab your blocks, any one or two blocks if you want. And then just bend a knee at a time. Once you get your hands down, take your time, let yourself release from one side to the other, finding those inner thighs. Moving kind of how your body wants to move. And then come on back to center and see if you can walk over to the right or shift your blocks a little to the right. Take your time. Let it feel good there. And then we'll come on back to center and go towards the left. Again, you can have your hands on the blocks. You can shift your hands all the way over to your left foot if you want. And then we'll come on back into center and set yourself up where you can easily stay here with some nice full deep breaths. So you're able to focus on your breath without feeling any kind of discomfort in your body. And that might mean that support would be really helpful. Let go now into your breath. Let your face go. Let your jaw release. And just imagine you're relaxing your teeth even, really. Just letting go there. And following your breaths all the way in and all the way out. Good. One more full deep breath. And then take your time. When you're ready to rise up, use whatever help you need to get there. And then when you're ready, bring your feet on together. Move around a little bit. Take your time. We're going to come into Warrior One this time and into a pyramid too. So if you want your chair turned, to use your seat of your chair for your pyramid, or you can keep it turned the other way. If you know you like to use your blocks, you don't need the seat of the chair. So let's step our right foot back, left foot forward, right foot back. Bring our shoulders around square to the front of our mat, right? Get comfortable in the alignment of that back foot. Turned out maybe 20, 30 degrees. And then bring your hands behind you. If you can reach over and hold either your wrist, one wrist with a hand, or your forearms, maybe even your elbows. That's totally up to you. Get where you're comfortable to be in your shoulders. Feel your shoulders squared off. Good. And then just come into three-part breaths. Inhaling into the belly, then to the ribs, then all the way up into your chest. And feel like when you exhale that you're letting the breath out of your chest first, then your ribs, and then your belly. Good. And on your next exhale, release your arms on down beside you. We're going to inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And as we exhale, we're going to lower the arms on back down beside us a couple of times, right? So inhaling, you're more than welcome to look up when you inhale and you get your hands up as far as you want them up top. Exhaling, bringing yourself either forward with your gaze or down. So letting the inhale rise the arms up. And on the exhale, they lower down. This next time, we're going to stay inhaling the arms up. You can be a wide V. You can bring your hands together if you want. Clasp them, send your pointer finger up. Let yourself release now into the front of the body. So inhaling up the front of the body. Exhaling down the back of the body. Feel the feet equal in the floor. Arches lifting up. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to bring our gaze forward, lower our arms down. We're going to straighten that front knee out. Get your hips around square now. So you decide as you come around square with the hips if you need to adjust your stance at all. Bring your hands behind you again. Clasp your hands. And then start to come forward. Now you may only come 2 or 3 inches before you feel like you need to put your hands down. So see if you can stay wherever you can be with your hands still behind you. Thighs are lifting up towards the hips, lengthening equally through the sides of the body. And then when you're ready to bring your hands down, you can use any height you want under your hands and adjust your stance. Once you get your hands down, maybe you can make your stance a little bit different. Sometimes longer feels better. And let yourself come into pyramid pose. Zip up the belly. Reach back through your tailbone at the same time. Let yourself enjoy feeling the backs of both legs now pretty deeply. If you want to fold forward over your front leg, by all means do. If not, stay up higher. Good. One more breath here. And now come up parallel more to the floor so you can keep your right hand down. Left hand is going to come up and you're going to turn to the left. So coming into a little revolved triangle pose here. Thighs engaging upwards still. Try to make sure you're not rolling to either side of either foot, right? So feel the arches lifting up, 4 corners reaching down. One more breath. And then bring your left hand on back down. We're going to bend the front knee and find a full lunge here now. So reaching now the heel directly behind your foot. We're going to add a twist here. So left hand again comes on up to the left hip. Rolling that shoulder up, hand can stay down on your low back, or you can stretch the arm up if you choose. Enjoy coming into that twist in your lunge now. One more breath. And then bringing the hand on back down. We're going to step forward and get our feet right underneath us. Bend your knees and let yourself feel your belly coming towards your thighs. It doesn't have to go all the way onto your thighs, but just imagine if you want. Let yourself release. And breathe. And then let your hands go where it feels good. Again, you can use support, elbows above the knees. You can hold your elbows if you want. However deeply you want to bend the knees, or maybe you want to come a little straighter. Good. And then we'll let our hands come on back up to our hips, bend our knees. We're going to rise up and inhale our arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Take your time here now. Feel really, if you can, as centered as you can between your feet. Tailbone is reaching down towards between your heels. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us and shake out a little bit as we get ready to do the other side. So again, if you think you want to use your chair seat, you can turn it to face you. If you'd rather, hold on to the back of the chair to come into that warrior one do. And we're going to step our left foot back and come into that length of stance and the width of stance where you feel really comfortable and stable, right? So you feel equal between your legs and into your feet. Your shoulders are around square. Feel that back foot in the floor, and then bring your hands behind you. Again, now where you hold is up to you. You can hold your hands, you can hold a wrist, you can hold your forearms, your elbows. See if you can just let yourself come into those three-part breaths. Inhaling into the belly, into the ribs, all the way up into the chest. On down beside you. We're going to add that movement of the arms, inhaling them however you can and however far you want overhead, and on the exhale, bringing them back down. And you can add your focus or not, that's up to you. If it feels good to inhale the arms up and look up, you can. And when you exhale as they come down, whether you want to look down or not is up to you. So inhaling, feeling that lift through the front of the body. Exhaling, imagine the breath coming down the back of your body. Inhaling those arms up. And exhaling, coming back down. The next time we come up, we're going to stay. So inhaling your hands up to where you feel good with your arms to be. If you want to clasp your hands, send your pointer finger up to. Let yourself feel again that lift through the front of the body on the inhale. Releasing down there. Imagine water flowing down the back of your body when you exhale. Good. One more breath. And then we'll look forward. Release our arms on down. Bring our hands behind us. Straighten that front knee out. Now adjust if you need to. Both legs are straight. Hips are coming around square. Have your hands behind you, and then as you lift upward with your thighs, you can come a little bit forward. You don't have to go far. Or you may decide you want to keep going and feel your hands be fine to be back behind you. So engaging upward with the thighs, feeling the hips squaring off as best you can, and then releasing your hands down to the surface you like to use. And once your hands come down, sometimes that really enables you to be able to maybe have a little bit longer stance. Again, thighs are lifting up. You might even imagine lifting all your toes up. You know, if you can do that, that means you can get yourself really squared off in the feet there. And then if you want to fold over, you can let the toes come back down. You can bow over that front leg if you feel good to do that. Opening up the backs of the legs. Let the pose do it for you. Just let yourself be with your breath. And then come on back up, more parallel to the floor. So we can add that twist. Remember, right hand is going to come up to the right hip, rolling that shoulder up, letting yourself come into twist here, revolve triangle. Now, again, think about trying not to roll to either side of either foot. The tendency is to roll to the outside of the right foot. Really feel that big toe mound into the floor. One more breath. And then come on back down with the hand. We're going to come into lunge, bending the front knee, and now reaching that left heel directly behind us. And we'll add our twist from here. Right hand up to the hip or the back, letting that shoulder roll up. You can keep your hand down, or you can stretch that right arm up if you choose to. Be where you can be. One more breath. And then we'll bring that hand on back down. And we're going to step forward and come into standing forward bend again. Let both your knees bend quite a bit here. Really feel that sense of the knees bending. And then if you want to come into straighter legs, do. Feel the release of the hands to where you want to go. Weight of your head. Release your jaw. Good. And then we'll bring our hands on up to our hips, bend our knees, and rise on up to standing. Let's inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Bring yourself into your mountain pose, whatever you need to do. Feel your hands gently together there. Equal between your feet. Good, and then we'll let our arms come on down beside us. And shake out a little bit, move around, do what you need to do. And we're going to bring our mats into a wall and let ourselves come into a little bit of balance here. So take your time. You can come into any wall you want. Good. And let's bring left hand to the wall and come into a little tree pose. But see if you can do it this way. See if you can bring your right knee up a little bit like you're stepping up a step in front of you. And then open your knee out to the side and try to keep that uplift through the front of the left hip. And then bring the foot in for tree, right? So let's do that again. Bring the right foot down. And again, left hand is giving you a little support on the wall. Bring that right knee up like you're stepping up a step. You may even try balancing for a second there if you want. And then opening the knee out to the side. And again, you can hold the wall. You can balance for a second like that if you choose. And then bringing the foot in, either above or below the knee, so that you get that sense of the foot coming into the inside of your leg. Hands can imagine bringing hands either to the heart or arms overhead, or you can use your hand on the wall anytime you need it. You can also put your foot down, kind of shake out a little bit, bring the foot back if you feel like you need to adjust a little bit. And put the foot down anytime you want. Enjoy. Coming into your tree pose. One more breath. And then we'll release, and we're going to come on down. And we'll circle through that left ankle a little bit before you turn around. Circle so you move through, and then we'll turn on around. Right foot is our supporting leg now. And again, right hand on the wall. Bring that left knee up in front of you like you're stepping up a step. And if you feel like you can let go of the wall, you can. And then you can open the knee to the side. And again, you can hold onto the wall throughout this. Once you bring your foot in for your tree, it can be above or below the knee. If you need to reach and hold on to the ankle and pull the foot up higher, do it, right? And then take your time, letting yourself play with balance, hands to the heart, arms overhead if you choose. And if you need to come down and readjust and then go back up again. Good. And then we'll release. Come on down again. Circle your right ankle a little bit. And then bring your hands to the wall. Step back into a down dog. Now, you may decide you need to do fists. You may decide that you need to stay up higher with your hands for your shoulders. We are going to bring our feet. You can get 90-degree bend at the hips if you choose. So get your feet a little closer together. And then bring your right leg up in the air behind you into a little warrior three. Bend your left knee a little bit. Press equally back out of your hands. And then bring that right foot down right away. Lift the left leg up. Elbows hug in, work towards each other. Take your time. Feel your toes facing downward. Good. And then bring both feet down. Stay in your dog for a couple of breaths. Really feel that reach back through the tailbone, finding that link to the spine. Good. Nice. One more breath. And then let yourself release. Walk on into the wall. And right away, we're going to come down onto our mats on the floor, onto our bellies. So come down and let yourself release all the way down onto your forearms with your elbows underneath your shoulders into a Sphinx pose, if you can. So if it's too much, remember you can slide elbows down towards the waist so you're not so high up, or you can put your hands farther forward. This all depends on your shoulders, right? So you find where you can be. Let yourself release here and breathe. Opening up easily into this little bit of a back bend. Nice, easy breaths. Belly is gently engaging. Good. And then let's bring our hands together, clasp them, and have your elbows under your shoulders. Whether you want to bend your knees and come into a half forearm plank here, or maybe you want to put your feet down and lift up to a full one. Either one, a lot of core work here. So take your time. Let yourself either stay with knees bent and hug your elbows towards each other. Kind of imagine you're trying to draw yourself forward towards the front of your mat a little bit. Feel how your belly engages. You can do it with knees up or down. Good. And then we're going to come down and we're going to roll onto our right side and let yourself come into lying on your right arm. Now, if this doesn't work for your shoulder, you can bring your arm down and put a block under your head or a blanket, which is more comfortable, right? So you've got to find for yourself what works as you come into lying on your side. And we'll do like we're doing tree here on our side. Bring our left foot up. Flex your right foot there on the floor and press into the outside edge of that right foot. Like the pinky toe mound is pressing into the floor. Now you can decide that foot can stay low. You can bring the foot up higher if you want to. Remember, you're really aligned here. If you were standing up, it'd be like tree pose. Your shoulders over your hips. Now, if any of you want to go further, you can use your left hand to draw your left knee in towards your shoulder so the foot comes off your leg. You don't have to do this part. And then you can extend it up long if you want to, letting yourself let the legs stretch up, turning that heel forward a little bit, finding that outward hip rotation. So you can hold on to the back of the leg or the inside of the leg, or you can let yourself find where you can be. And then if you have the leg lengthened, bend the knee again. Let yourself just draw the knee in a little more towards your shoulder if you can. And then let's extend the leg down long. Let yourself flex through both feet. Just like you're coming into mountain pose here. You can even put your left arm up overhead if you want. So you have both arms up. It's like a big stretch. And then we're just going to roll back through to the belly so we can go to the other side from here. So letting yourself adjust on your mat. And stretching that left arm, or again, if you need to adjust, do it. Put a blanket or block under your head. Bring your arm down. And then again, just bring that right foot up. You've got the left foot underneath you. You decide for the tree. You can be below the knee. Now feel the outside edge of that left pinky toe pressing down into the floor. There's an engagement there. And you can decide whether you want to stay here, letting the foot stay low, bring the foot up higher. You can put the right hand off the floor. You can even stretch the arm up like we did just now if you want. Or just take your time for a second, let it feel really good. And then again, this bringing that knee up to where the right hand draws the knee so the foot comes off the leg or not. That's up to you. And it engages the core like crazy when you press into the outside edge of that right foot. And then you can extend up if you want, holding on to the leg, rotating the heel forward. You can keep the knee bent, let yourself just play a little bit, right? Find a nice way to extend there, releasing the hip. One more breath. And then bring the leg on back down, flex through both feet, get your feet parallel now. And then you can bring that right arm up and you can just stretch all the way through. Fingertips press into your heels. And then we're going to roll back to our bellies again. Let yourself come on back to your belly. Onto your forearms now again, and either lifting up to that half or that full forearm plank again. Or some of you may want to bring your knees in and press up, lift up into a dolphin pose. This is up to you. Staying on your forearms if you want. Take your time, whether you want to let yourself be on your knees and be in that half plank, full plank, or maybe reaching up towards a dolphin pose. So dolphin pose is really different in the shoulders. The planks are really focused on the core. So be where you can. One more breath. And then we'll come on down and we're going to shift back towards pose of a child from here. So you know it is up to you whether you let yourself come fully back with your hips towards your heels or not. Stay forward onto your forearms if you need. Bring your arms to a really comfortable place for you, whether it's overhead and soft or back alongside your legs with the palms up. And breathe into that low back. And if you like to turn your head to one side in your child's pose, that's fine. Just maybe right about now, turn it the other way so you even out. Good. One more breath. And to come up, let your hands come by your knees and bring yourself on around to sitting from here. So coming on around with your legs. And you know if sitting up higher is better for you, up on a blanket or a block or both, right? Once you get comfortable, stretch your legs on out and let yourself just kind of wiggle out around with you can do little leg bounces if you want. You can go in and out, little wiper blades. Just play around a little bit, let your legs release. And then think about sending your inner thighs down towards the ground. So you can even kind of use your hands a little bit to encourage that, which gets your sit bones right down into the surface you're on. Toes are up, knees are up, sitting in staff pose, hands beside you, reaching down towards the ground. And feeling that lift up, like you have that string attached to the base of your spine, up through the spinal column, and it's coming out the top of your head, and it's being pulled upward. So there is so much space in your spine. Good, and then from here, ease your way forward. Now you can bend your knees if you need. You can let yourself come a little forward from the low back. You can reach for your toes if that feels good for you. You know, you don't need to. Just let yourself come into a seated forward bend where you feel that the back is staying lengthened and you're not just rolling forward here in the upper back, right? Good. One more breath. And then come up and let's all bring our right foot in. Now, you can hold behind your thigh like with your arm if you want, or your hand, and you kind of pull the thigh in towards you, towards the outside of the ribs a little bit, and then see if you can bring the foot up a little. Now you can hold on here. You can reach down and hold one hand underneath the leg like that to give you a little support, or you can reach for your foot and hold on to your foot if you can. Now, heron pose, you can look up a little bit and decide if you can lengthen your leg up a bit. You don't need to. Knee can stay bent. Try just not to round like this into your back. You're keeping that long back. And just enjoy now. Opening up into the hip, into the back of the leg. Again, you can use your hands however you need. One more breath. And now as you bring the foot down and you put it on the floor, bow your head and let yourself really round a little bit here just to release your back. And then we'll come on back up and we're just going to switch to do the other leg. So the left foot comes in, and again, you can hold, you can kind of hook your arm if you can around the back of the thigh. That helps it lift up a little easier. Or you can hold on, right? And then again, if you feel like you want to reach towards your foot, you can, or you can hold one hand behind and one with the foot, or both behind like that. And then again, if you look up a little bit, that in itself lengthens the spine. And whether you let yourself come as the gaze lifts into that straighter leg or not, that's up to you. You can keep the knee bent, but try to keep that lift. Yes, good, nice. Feeling that lift through the front of the body. Good, one more breath. And then as you bring your foot down, again, let yourself just kind of bow your head, even round a little bit. Let the back release. Good, and then we'll come on back up. We're going to stretch that left leg long. Bring our right foot now across to the outside of our left leg. Now, you can go to the inside if it's too much to bring it to the outside, either above or below your knee. And hold on for a second here and lengthen up right from here. Reach equally down through your sit bones, right? So you'll feel a little bit up into the right buttocks, right? You'll feel that sense of releasing. One more breath. And on your next exhale, we're going to twist to our right. Bring your right hand on around behind you as far as you feel comfortable to be. You can hook your elbow, crook of your elbow around that right knee, or you can bring your left arm across to the outside if you choose. Really depends on you, lengthening upward through the top of your head. One more breath. Now as you come back through center, we're going to twist the other way. So you're going to now bring your right hand around, maybe even to touch your right foot or the inside of the right leg there somewhere, and lengthen up as you come into the twist this way. Feel your sit bones drawing down. Good. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, use your belly to bring you back into center. And we are going to switch legs. So right leg comes long. And again, if you can come to the outside of the leg, either below or above your knee, do. If you need to, you can keep it to the inside, right? That depends on you. Now try just sitting up first, like holding onto your knee or your shin and lengthening up. Feel that right heel on the ground. Good. One more inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to come around, left hand around again. Now as you come, you can have your hand on your knee. You can hook your elbow into the knee if it's right up there, or you can bring your arm across. So be where you're able to not lean backward. Try not to lean heavily into that left hand back there. Let yourself enjoy finding that space in the spine. Inhaling into the length of the spine. On the exhale, kind of imagine your right ribs coming a little more over towards that left inner thigh. One more breath. And now as you exhale, remember we're just going to go all the way around in the other direction. So just keep on turning all the way, right hand behind you. And again, lengthening up through the top of your head. One more breath. And then as you exhale and you come on back around into center, bring your legs on out in front of you. Bring out just a little bit apart and let yourself circle your feet a little bit. Let the legs do little flippy floppies too. Be easy. And we're going to come on down onto our backs on the floor. You might want a block handy in case. We're going to do some bridge pose, so if you think a supported bridge sounds pretty good, come on down, bring your knees on in towards your chest. Let the knees come side to side. And if you're kind of feeling like you ate turkey yesterday instead of a week ago, I totally get it. So bringing your feet onto the floor. Take your time then. Get set up here for your bridge pose. Bring your arms down alongside you at first. And then feel, you kind of have, if you've done a lot of bridge poses, you kind of have this sense of where your feet feel the best. But if not, you can always adjust. So bring your feet to the floor, let your arms be long, and lift your heels up for a second so that your heels are off the floor. Press into the feet. Feel your quads engaging. Don't lift up, just press down into your feet, into the floor. And then lower the heels on back down. Let yourself imagine you have a block between your thighs. And then press into the arms and lift up. So the knees stay in line, right? The knees don't flare outward. You can lift up with your arms straight. If you feel better to bend your elbows, do. You can roll your shoulders under more once you get up. Feel that ease of really, thighs are engaging, front of the body is open, but so is the back of your body. It's like your top buttock muscles are reaching down towards your knees, back of the head, gently coming into the floor. And then let yourself release. Come on down from there. Bring your knees into your chest and let yourself separate your knees a little more and hug the knees down, kind of towards the outside of the ribs, towards the floor, just for a second to release the low back and the hips. And then come on back. We're going to come down again with the feet. Now, if you'd rather just grab a block right here, you can come up onto that block for supported bridge, or maybe you want to set yourself up for another bridge pose. Sometimes it's fun to come into supported bridge and move up and down off a block. So if that feels good, you can come into having yourself released onto the block, but lift up from it. And then go back down when you want, right? And there's sometimes it feels good to change the height of your block so that you start low and you kind of move up. But it's perfectly fine to stay in supported bridge and let go, right? Let your low back release. So if that feels good to you, do it. Let yourself breathe and release. If it feels better to stay supported, do. And those of you in here who are with me know you can play however you want. You can be on the block, stretch your legs up while you're supported on the block if that feels good, or let yourself play a little bit with some leg lifts while you're on a block, because that can be really fun too. Just be mindful. If you feel like doing a little bit for the belly there, you can do those leg lowering and lifting. Just stay really calm in your pelvis, really, right? You're not popping up and down. You're not changing alignment here. And of course, you don't wait for me. If you need to come down from bridge pose, come down anytime you choose. And you know to release into whatever else you need to do as well. So once you come down from bridge pose and you let yourself find what your body automatically wants to do, generally it's bringing your knees in towards your chest, either one at a time or both. But for some people, you know, it feels better to do a little bit less, just to keep their feet on the floor, let the knees come side to side. So really just paying attention to how your body feels when you come out of a pose. And then if you are able to come into a little happy baby pose, bringing the feet on up, sliding the knees on out, letting yourself release there. And then take your time before you get ready to come into Shavasana. There may be something else your body really wants to do. If you feel like another pose or a movement would feel good, by all means, just take a little bit of time here. So that when you do get ready for Shavasana, it feels just easier. You're more comfortable. You know that you've kind of gotten through any wiggles that you need to. Those of you at home, if you know that a bolster underneath your knees sounds like a good idea, or at home if you don't have a bolster, you can try a rolled up blanket. So take your time and adjust however you need. Use a blanket underneath the back of your head too. If you feel like you're really tight in the back of your neck, just a little bit of a roll of a blanket can make a huge difference. So let me know here in the studio if you need anything. Wave at me. Let yourself, if you need to move your arms or your legs a little bit to get more easy up into your shoulders and your hips too. And then just watch your breath. It sounds easy, and it is, except our minds always want to wander off into thinking, but it's okay. Just keep returning to your breath. Finding those little quiet places. So your body and your brain have time to benefit from all you just did. Just letting yourself completely and fully relax. physical movement as you breathe in and out, belly rising and falling. And deeper breaths bring you back now into feeling a little more energy flowing, feeling like moving again maybe, fingers and toes, hands and feet. Stretching if you need to stretch, or bringing your knees up and in if that feels better to your back. Take your time. You know you're welcome to roll to either your right or your left side if coming onto your side is comfortable for you, into a soft fetal position. That can give you a little more time to adjust. Of course, when you feel ready to rise up, just see if you can float your way up so you still feel very relaxed even as you come into sitting however is comfortable. So maybe you feel like you want to cross your legs or stretch them out or grab a blanket. Let your eyes close gently and just stay inwardly focused a little bit longer if you can, so that it feels like there's a lot of space as you lengthen up through the top of your head, a lot of space to breathe. Easy to sit up nice and tall. And on your next exhale, let your hands come gently to meet there in front of your chest, in front of your own heart. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste.
Namaste.